Actually, come back.
Oh, you want to be on the
Yeah.
on the.
Come back and action. Where are we right now?
So we're in Park Heights. We're in Lower Park Heights. We're at Reisterstown Road and Virginia Avenue, and this was a Jewish neighborhood back in the day, and then the Jewish community moved on the other side of Northern Parkway. So, and it was
Why did they move?
because black people were moving in. You know, when black people earn a good dollar, they want to live in a good neighborhood, and so they started expanding their footprint. And white and Jewish communities still didn't want to live near them. So I would say this might have been 50s and 60s. So there was something called white flight, and I think that happened in all major cities. So they left. And but a lot of times, some of this blight that you see here comes from the fact that Jewish people might have been the landlords, and when it comes to time to fix up what needed to be fixed, weren't willing to do that. And some owners of property in Baltimore have just left altogether, and they can't be found. And so these properties sit and rot. So this mural that we're looking at is called Reflections, and it was painted in 2000, and it was just a mural that brought beauty to the neighborhood. This is a 2-story building, so back in those days, scaffold was built from the ground to the top, or maybe not quite to the top, but so as far as they would build a scaffold where we could reach the rest. It was also built the width of the building, and it was anchored into the building. So Mr. Mason was in the first mural program in Baltimore, which was called Beautiful Walls for Baltimore. And he was hired in that program soon after coming back from New York in 1974. He found this opportunity and pursued it and was hired in that program. There were other artists that were in the program, and that program found sites for muralists to paint. Some of his contemporaries were Guy Jones, Eugene Coles, Avon Martin. I say they were the pathfinders. And the program created the opportunity for more than one mural to be painted at one time, and therefore a movement of murals to come to Baltimore. So I'm here at the Baltimore Wall of Pride. This is the third iteration of this mural. It's subtitled Back to the Future. So the wall here has been respected by the community because it was designed as a teaching tool. And you'll see the names of the individuals on the wall. It has always been that way because Mr. Mason wanted people in the community to go out and find out who these people are, and to grow and learn from what we see. So Pontella was born in Rocky Mount, North Carolina in 1948. He came to Baltimore when he was about 7 years old. That is part of what is known as the Great Migration, where African Americans came north, starting in the late 1800s, came north to find work. So when his parents came to Baltimore. They left him, actually they came to Philadelphia first. They left him with his grandparents in North Carolina until they had established themselves. And then ultimately they moved to Baltimore. And so he was about 7 years old, I believe, when that happened. So this was painted by Michelle Santos, who was a teacher that taught with him at Maritime High School, which at the time was on North Avenue between Park and Linden. When we first came out here to discuss fixing the mural, the love of this space showed itself when across the street there is a drug rehabilitation center. And the people there saw us convening and ran out and said, "What are you going to do to our wall?" They didn't realize that we were the ones who were going to bring it back to life. So it just was another way of seeing that this wall is important to the community, and I'm sure that if this indeed crumbles someday, somebody's going to be back out here to do something.
Where are you?
I'm at the Wall of Pride. I'm doing an interview. Where are you? You done?
I left early because I went to football game and I was ready to come to go to the bathroom, but now I know you're at the Wall of Pride doing an interview and I don't want to interrupt, so I guess I should go.
So Baltimore is a city of neighborhoods. These neighborhoods are named, and we've known some of these neighborhoods, all of our lives, like Cherry Hill, Emerson Village, Poplar Grove, East Side and West Side, of course, Park Heights. So many different names, so many different neighborhoods. And when I was coming up, people were neighbors and they took pride in their neighborhoods. And so they always talked about where they came from. So here in Sandtown, this neighborhood, at least as long as I've known, has been an impoverished neighborhood. And Baltimore was one of the first, had the most freed black people after slavery was abolished. One of the reasons why is because slavery ended with, we're not going to get any new slaves. So then people ended up being able to buy themselves out of it, or some people were not able to continue with slavery. The slaves that they had, they kind of petered out, and so they weren't getting any new stock from Africa. So however it happened, Baltimore ended up to have the largest freed black population. And the mayor at that time said, "Oh no, all this home ownership and all of this businesses that they own, we can't have that." So they started doing things like covenants where black people cannot buy homes and businesses in particular neighborhoods. And those were the places where they were most lush. There's the most tree growth, and there's the healthiest environments for black people we were kept out of. If you were not white Anglo-Saxon, they did not want you in their area. And they did the things to put blame on you so that white Anglo-Saxons would believe that and not receive you as a part of the community. So black people in America still suffer from the same plight because the forces are ever present to keep black people down. And Sandtown, Winchester is one of those neighborhoods that has suffered from that.